Hi everyone, I'm here today to talk about this book. This is The Whispering House by Elizabeth Brooks. This was very kindly sent to me for review and I just finished reading it and I thought I would let you all know what I thought of it. If you follow me on Instagram, you will have seen that I've already given sort of a written review on my Instagram page, which is SparklesBooks. But if not, I'm here to give you my thoughts on this book. So The Whispering House is an interesting premise. We have a very sort of gothic setup. We've got an old crumbling manor house with a secret, and I don't know about you, but I really enjoy books like that. I really like to sink in to a crumbling old manor house that is sort of devoid of its former glory and just sink into what secrets it holds between the walls, because I personally do think that houses sort of hold the secrets of the residents that have lived there. It's just sort of a thing that I like, and it's something that I enjoy in books. So The Whispering House is about one such house called Byron Hall. Byron Hall is home to an elderly woman and her grown son, and together they live in amongst the house that used to be absolutely fantastic and beautiful and so opulent. But Byron Hall in the later years has sort of fallen upon hard times since the death of the man of the house. And since then, the occupants of Byron Hall get by making their money from weddings, and they have weddings on the ground and they host them, and they're sort of big affairs. As if any of you've been to weddings that have been held on sort of country estates, you'll know the type of thing that Byron Hall is hosting. And so we start the book at a wedding, and our main character Freya is a guest at this wedding at Byron Hall, and Freya is struggling a bit. She's there with her father, and they're both living in the aftermath of the suicide of Freya's sister Stella 5 years previous. And what further adds to Freya and her father's discomfort is that the body of her sister was found really close to Byron Hall over the cliffs, and so being there sort of awakens feelings that they just don't really want to feel, and so they're trying to be part of this wedding because they want to not sort of bring everybody down. It was 5 years ago, but still they find it hard. And Freya peaks early. She drinks far too much, and she has been outside vomiting on the floor before the speeches even happen. So she shamed herself a bit, and she takes herself off to lick her wounds, if you will. And she stumbles into Byron Hall. And if you've been to any sort of stately homes for a wedding, you'll know that there are the private living quarters of the residents who live there. And there's often a big sign telling you it's private and you don't go in, and people generally respect that rule. But not Freya. There's something about Byron Hall that calls Freya into it, and it could be the alcohol that's coursing through her, it could be the sort of the feelings that have upset her, it could be the sort of the merriment of the wedding mixed with her own personal trauma, but there's something about Byron Hall that calls her in. And so in she goes, and as she gets in there, it's a very claustrophobic environment. She feels like the walls are watching her as she makes her way down a very dimly lit corridor, where her attention is drawn to a portrait on the wall. And even though the portrait is somewhat amateurish in style, she can't help but notice the likeness to her sister Stella. And the more that she looks at this portrait, she becomes convinced that this is actually a portrait of her late sister Stella. However, as far as Freya knows, her sister Stella never came to Byron Hall, and so there should be no reason for a portrait to be hanging in the halls. But at this point, Freya succumbs to the alcohol and falls into sort of a drunken stupor onto the floor and sleeps. When she awakes, the picture is gone, and in the space is just an outline of where a portrait has hung. Freya stumbles back into the party, determined to draw a line under it and thinking that perhaps she imagined the whole thing due to the amount that she has drank. However, as the weeks go by, Freya is drawn back to Byron Hall. She can't give up what she thinks she saw, and so she orchestrates a plan to get herself back to Byron Hall so that she can unravel the secrets. This was a fun and dark gothic-y read. It didn't take me very long to get through, and I think it's perfect for this sort of season as we're just slipping into the autumn season. I really want to start getting more into my darker reads again. I gave this 3 out of 5 stars because a few of the things that Freya did, I couldn't really understand why she was doing them, and there were parts of her personality that frustrated me, which I think was done intentionally to portray how naive she actually is, because for Freya, her sort of personal growth and development seemed to stop when her sister Stella died, and she's sort of a 23-year-old who's trapped in a teenage mindset. But some of that naivety when lended to the situations in this book can be somewhat frustrating, and so for that reason I gave it 3 out of 5 stars, because I did just want to shout through the pages at times to tell her not to make certain decisions. But overall, I really enjoyed the sort of descriptive element of this book. At times it can feel a little devoid of action, but for me the pacing sort of goes with the atmospheric feel of the novel, and yeah, overall it was an enjoyable read. So let me know if you've read The Whispering House, and let me know if you're going to, and I will speak to you all soon. Bye for now.